Remember the Guillaume dance?
The Guillaume dance.
Eight.
All right, we're on. It's all said and done.
Yes.
Airspeed lost.
Yes.
Yes. To Hayabusa.
Believe it or not, Airspeed lost.
Yep.
What happened?
We got beat.
Somebody else got the champagne or whatever it is.
You know what though? All the credit to Hayabusa. They had a great meet. We did the best we could. And that's all you can say. You can't take anything away from the winners. We did very well. They did better, and that's what it comes down to.
You know what they said? Actually, I spoke with them earlier. Actually, on camera, they said they're actually better in the tunnel than they are outdoors. And it reminded me on an earlier remark actually that I kept for myself so far. I don't know what it was, but it came from this
sector over here.
From this sector over there. But they said they confirmed that. They said actually they are working on the exits and they are better in the tunnel than they are outdoors, and that's one reason how they explained actually the difference between the Shamrock and this competition here. Did you see that?
I did. I mean, they're extremely efficient. They keep everything small and very efficient. I think that the draw lended itself to them a little bit too. It was pretty straight up and not a lot of switchers, things like that. But they just executed really well. They were more efficient, I think, getting in the tunnel and building the first point and going. They hands down to them. They held it together for 10 rounds, and each round was good. And they had a little glitch in round 9, but they just kept powered through it, and they just executed really well. So, I mean, they won. They beat us.
Mark, you were here last year.
Yes.
And we had it in round 2 or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, the all random. Yeah.
So that was different this year actually, because this year you did. How did you feel about your random sequence this year?
I think we did a really good job with it. We had a pretty much glitch-free skydive. Unfortunately, we flew a little bit high in the tunnel, and the judges decided that we didn't qualify for two of those points, which is completely understandable. We fly quite a bit in the tunnel, but we don't focus a huge amount on all randoms because they're very unlikely to get drawn with a draw. Very unlikely. But also, the tunnel is, to a certain extent, it's a really, really good supplement, but it isn't where the real skydiving happens. But it is a fantastic tool, and you know what? It's really, really good to be shown how to fly in the tunnel, which we were given a bit of a lesson this weekend. But that's great. I mean, we're here to learn, and we feel really, really good about what we did. And it was a good random jump for us.
And it brings also a few thousand pounds once in a while, like once a year or so. This time only 2,000. How much was it this year?
3,000.
3,000
pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Hayabusa won in Dubai, lost clearly at the Shamrock. Here now Hayabusa won. France won the second day today. You had the second. Next time at the World Cup or whatever, maybe a Russian team is going to win, or France. We have different winners at each meet. Is that what we have to expect?
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of teams at a certain level, I mean, the tunnel, everyone, I think, agrees is the big equalizer. It's I don't want to say it's easier to win in the tunnel because we all know how hard it is, but it opens the door a lot more for teams, and a good example of that is Excel. Excel doesn't do any training. They come here, and every year they're right at the top of the game. So
what do you know about that in Excel? What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about.
So I mean, it's XL tradition that they never do more than an hour and a half of training before going in the tunnel. That's the absolute maximum, no matter what the team is. And every year they come and do good, but the Sky it's different. Hayabusa won in Dubai against the French, and I think Solly summed it up pretty well in the coach's corner in Deland right before the Shamrock. He just mentioned that the scores between Hayabusa and the French were pretty similar, both between the Dubai meet and the Shamrock meet. If you look at the difference between the two teams, although Hayabusa won in Dubai and the French beat them in the Shamrock, the difference between them is pretty similar. It's not a huge gap, but it's something that you would expect from meet to meet. As far as other teams, I don't know what the Russians are doing. They always seem to be a bit of a secret. I'd like to see them come out and do some more meets for sure. I'd be curious as to where they are.
Just seems like nobody seems to dominate, the four-way competition really much any longer. I mean, we always used to have two teams mostly, friends, but now it's three teams, and all of them are pretty close to each other. So I kind of almost seems like you got to be ready to win or lose at any time from here on. Is that where we're heading to, kind of?
I kind of think it comes down to any professional sport. I mean, it's very rare that you hear anything about soccer in Germany or England, or even back in the U.S., basketball, football, winning back-to-back championships. And those are real professional organizations. And I think skydiving in itself, the wind tunnel is spreading all over Europe, all over the United States, and more sponsorships and everything else. I think in the future, anything is just going to be closer for anything. It's like, it evolves. It becomes more a sport that people participate in than in the past. And the difference is going to be smaller.
I think also it's worth remembering that all three of these teams have had restructuring within this year. All three teams are still in the learning phase of their training. There hasn't been enough time to see one dominant force amongst it. And maybe in the future there will be. I don't know. Maybe there won't be. Maybe we're at a level, like Nick said, where it's all getting tighter and tighter. But time will tell. I think everyone, all of these three teams that were here need time to actually get into the training a little bit more.
Interesting also actually that XL they didn't really they were not at the end, they weren't really in contention any longer. It seems like the top teams are also so well trained that the pickup team will have it more and more difficult to make it to the very top. I mean, to the very top is probably impossible right now for pickup teams. So what's with the Airspeed from here on? Are we going to see all the top contenders next time at the World Cup, I guess it is this year, or is that we're going to meet all of them again? Is that your plan?
We're not confirmed on the World Cup
Not yet.
No.
What's the Airspeed plan for this year?
Well, most of our training happens in the summer. We're going to jump a lot then because this winter and spring is our. It's when we do quite a bit of coaching, and then as people stay in Europe or wherever they are, we usually end up increasing our volume of training. So we'll probably do a lot more jumping this summer.
And as of competition, World Cup, we don't know. So USBA Nationals would be the next competition.
Well, there's the Battle Midway in Chicago.
Oh, that's right.
We'll be there. We'll be there. Anybody wants to come?
Yeah, Challenger. Nobody. We had this already at the
it'd be nice
Paraclete event.
It'd be nice if some other teams came. It would be great.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're gonna celebrate a little bit. You have some team briefings still on the agenda to wrap up the day.
Yeah, we're going to go home and debrief the meet right now with a keg of beer, and that's about it.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, thank you very much anyway, and good luck for the rest of the season. And, we'll see you hopefully at the Midway.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks.
Woo!